So yesterday Jack and I were doing some bits in the garden and we tried to open the window only to realise that the poor surviving cucumber had tried to wrap around the actual handle of the window. So I think it's absolutely time that it goes in a pot now. It's got really good roots now. I think I'm going to put it straight outside and hope for the best because next few days is meant to be quite warm, so fingers crossed it will still, you know, survive. I mean, I can't say it's been particularly warm in the kitchen, especially on the windowsill overnight, so fingers crossed it will be okay. Ooh, that was close. So I tried to not bury the actual stem of the cucumber too deep because I've heard that cucumbers, unlike other plants like tomatoes, really don't like to have much of their stems covered when they're going up into bigger pots. So that was why this guy's not sat too deep in the pot. It's pretty much just the roots that have been put underneath the soil. So these little tree sapling things look like they should be really easy to snap, but let me tell you, they are not. Even though they have only really sprung up in this last year, the flexibility is just crazy in these. They can really bend, but also they do not want to snap because they're still very green growth, so trying to get this out of the ground was, yeah. I probably should have used some loppers or something, but I didn't really have anything that I could use, so brute force was the way to go. And then as I was stripping off the leaves and stuff on this bit of tree, I basically realised if I plant this in a pot, there's a good chance it's going to make roots and grow again, which obviously wasn't what I wanted. I just wanted to use it as a bit of support for the cucumber. So I decided I'm going to try and make it so that it really cannot survive, stripped all the bark off, and basically hope that it wouldn't suddenly start growing a new tree. So these ties came on the bamboo canes which I had used for the cucumbers when they were alive in the green pots in front of me. It took a stupid amount of time to undo the knots that were on these, but I did get there in the end, and it was the only thing I actually had in the garden or in the house at all at this point that I could use to tie them up. And obviously this little guy definitely needs some help because he is not got a lot of support from his stem. So I was really surprised that the cucumber started to grow some flowers and was even trying to grow a couple little cucumbers. My friend Eloise recommended that I snapped these off and let it actually continue growing the actual plant rather than trying to grow cucumbers at this point. And I think her decision was definitely the right one. So I just pulled these off and gave it a good water and hoped for the best. So even though I moved this glass out the way, I still did manage to knock it over, so I was just quickly giving it a little check over to make sure I hadn't cracked it. And then this is the watering can that I did find buried in the garden when we first moved in. Very handy to have, but I do not know why I didn't pull the end of it off and just use it as a normal watering can rather than trying to use this terrible broken rosette at the end. It's not the best for watering, and also with strawberries and quite a few other plants, to be honest, I don't think you're meant to be watering the leaves. So top tip, if you do have strawberries, tomatoes, double check and make sure you're not watering the leaves if you shouldn't be, because I do think that, yeah, this was not the way to go. Actually, I'd like your guys' opinions on what you think of this strawberry tower. I kind of like it for some reasons and I hate it for others. I find it really awkward to water and it's annoying that you have to rotate it, but it is quite a good design in the fact that you can put a lot of strawberries in a small space, and also the fruit does overhang over the edge, so let me know what you guys think. And then whilst I was out here, I decided to give everything a quick check. The olive tree was looking a lot healthier since I gave it some deep watering, which it preferred, and the leaves have got a lot greener. The cherry tree, I believe this is, has been nibbled on by something, and I did in fact find a caterpillar on this tree at one point, so maybe that's what was nibbling it. The raspberries, a couple of the leaves and stuff looked like they were dying, but they are growing raspberry buds, so most of them are happy. But I was a bit concerned that some of the leaves were dying off, and I wasn't really 100% sure why, because if you look at these shorter raspberry canes, they look very healthy in comparison. And then there is an obscene amount of lettuce in this planter, far too closely spaced. Definitely would recommend not planting quite as many. The mutant tomato is still hanging in there, but the rest of them are looking pretty good. This tree is the plum tree, I believe. It looks so short compared to, this is the pear, I think, maybe, and then finally the apple. Just decided to rotate that one because the leaves were really against the house, and I thought it's better to move it a bit further away.
It's close.
Don't fall over. Oh my god. It's a big day. We are finally painting our bedroom after waiting so long for carpets and all the prep work we had to do in here. So we are currently going around and masking taping the edges, and then we've got some sticky carpet protector to go over the top, and hopefully that means nothing will get through onto the carpet. Obviously the plan was to hopefully have had all of this painted beforehand, just didn't happen in time, so we're doing as much as we can now to prevent any damage to the new carpet, and hopefully by the end of tomorrow, maybe the day after, we'll be able to actually move upstairs into our bedroom, which will be amazing. And then these are the giant rolls of the floor protector. Right, we have taped all around the edges. So now we're going in with the rolls. We just detached the light switch because there was a little bit of paper still around there where we hadn't done that earlier. So hopefully, and also the electric stuff, so we're not going to get electrocuted. But yeah, hopefully this will fix up fairly well so we don't have to do too much. If worst case scenario, we'll just come back and do that another day when it's done. But yeah, that light is also down, so that's another reason to turn the electric off before we start painting.
See why scissors would be helpful.
Ah, my nail.
What do you mean nail? Nice. Is it cutting?
Yeah.
Will we save time if we just walk downstairs and get some scissors?
Put it up, I reckon it'll snap.
Oh, we've just dented the wall. Brilliant.
You dented the wall.
I beg your pardon.
Ow, my head. Right, and then, yeah.
They're extremely see-through, I've told her.
Well, this is why they're painting ones, because they
Probably
don't
not the best
What you
ones to be
really
wearing
need-
with the camera facing this way as well.
Yeah,
Shreya.
what you really need is a pair of pants that are the same colour or body colour, not a dark colour.
Fine, I will go change my shorts.
Like, it's unbelievably see-through. Get some scissors while you're down there, please.
Fine. Right, so Jack and his mum are bickering in the other room, but we have one floor completely covered, and we've basically just gone over the top of the sticky stuff that's on the floor, like cling filmy type stuff that's on the floor. Just checked around the edges to make sure there's no gaps, because it is a bit tricky to place down and keep it down. That's why the masking tape was there to begin with, is sort of to give it something else to stick to. But yeah, it's looking good, I think. So hopefully our carpets are nicely protected, and we are on to the next room. Right, so we are about to start the mist coat. We've got a big bucket mixed with 50% water, 50% paint, some rollers. Jack's ready to go. Right, there we go. The walls have had one coat of mist coat, which is a mix of 50% paint, 50% water. So hopefully that is going to dry quite quickly, and we're moving on to the next bedroom to get the mist coat on the walls there. The reason why we've done that is because there's quite a lot of filler on the walls where when we were stripping away the wallpaper, some of it, the paint came off and the scrapers were digging into the walls in various places. So yeah, it was a good idea to make sure it was all fine before putting on a proper coat of paint. So guys, we have a second room mist coated, which is looking real good. Only apart from we haven't done a tiny bit up there, which is because it needs sanding, so we're waiting for the walls to dry. That can then be sanded and then have a quick mist coat before we go over with the white coat. And then I had the genius idea of sticking the sticky floor stuff onto this bucket to save the rest of the, because we have quite a lot of mist coat left, which we'll need for the other rooms anyway, so hopefully that will keep it nice and fresh. I mean, the cling film on the other ones actually kept the trays perfectly fine for well over a week, so I'm sure that'll be much better than just cling film, and means we don't end up wasting any paint, which is fab. And now we're on to the main white coat of this, which will be a full ceiling coat, because there's just a couple patches around the edge we can still see where the plaster's coming through. And also we want to sort of cover up all of the other things in here, make sure that the colour goes on real well. Also be going around the architraves and a full length of the wall again, so full another coat coming up. And we've got some nice new fluffy rollers, so just going around with masking tape, pulling off any of the fluff, because normally you would wash these before you use them, but we haven't had time to do that, so just getting off all the fluff before we get going on this coat, so we don't have to pick off any bits that flake off. And it worked really well for the last few ones, so hopefully this will get off all the fluff and we won't be picking off bits of the wall. Right, Chrissy went to B&Q this morning and got some of these. Well, in fact, she got us some new trees. Massive deep bucket because obviously we're going to need quite a lot of paint, and also doing big surface area, so it's much easier if we got just a big tub. And these are inserts, so you literally just pick these up and throw them in the bin after you're done. It saves a lot of washing up, so much better, like you did before. Now lift it up and pull. Language. Oh, probably should get the paint stirrer.
Are you using the new roller?
Yeah.
We need to do the ceiling first, don't we?
I don't know.
Why? Yeah, we should do the ceiling first, not the walls.
Well, that doesn't.
That's not the new roller.
Well, this is what I was given.
That is the new roller.
The spatterproof roller. It's got a black handle.
Oh, that one. I'll go get that one. This is going to have to be taped as well. And dropped.
I've got it for the ceiling so it's not all spattered.
Okay, maybe you do the walls,
And
I'll
it
do the
says
ceiling then.
30% less.
Spatter.
So what's happening with this mess?
Your mum can use that if she needs it.
What, the woman that's going around doing all the sides, yeah?
Well, she might need it. You don't know.
But there's only one.
No.
There's two
I
rollers.
don't know
in
how I
there.
feel about this thing. I don't think I like it.
What thing? The
I
bucket?
think a tray is better.
No, it's a case of getting used to it.
Well, you see that I'm not getting much paint on this thing.
Well then surely that's not the tray's fault, that's user error.
Yeah, Jack, that's user error.
'Cause how are you
Can you keep
supposed
that bit in?
how are you supposed to evenly distribute it when
Well,
it's
it's also, you probably haven't loaded the brush enough because it's
what brush?
the roller.
Well, no, Sophie, because thanks to you, most of it's on the f***ing side.
That could have happened to anyone.
Well, it didn't. It happened to you.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
Nice to see the green coming through me.
This is quite a chunky roller, isn't it? I'll get there. Don't you worry.
No, you see, the
That's quite
videos
a-
I've seen, they do it up and down, so it is a case of it's different.
Well, I'll tell you what probably is a good idea then.
Well,
Not having one just sat in there
Yeah.
as well. That's probably a good idea.
Fine, we'll get rid of this one.
You're not actually rubbing the paint bit.
I know, I'm trying to, but it doesn't.
Yeah, because it's heavy at the bottom.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I know. There we go. Now it's evenly rolled around and that can just sit there. How? I don't understand.
Oh, it sounds like user error to me.
It is user error. I 100% agree with that. There we go. That's a bit better. It's a bit less overloaded. Right, so I'm doing the ceilings, yeah?
No idea. I'm so glad you've decided to go over there where I'm currently painting the walls.
Fine, I'll go in this corner. Honestly.
bit early, but say what the roller's like. It's just I'm interested.
Well, it hasn't well, it's only a tiny bit spattery compared to...
Yeah, splatterproof my arm.
Well, it's not splatter proof, it's just less splatter.
Because I have to say, I look like I had a load of whiteheads after the mist coat.
Yeah, that's liquidy.
Watery, isn't it?
As you can see, absolutely covered in paint. Jack is also covered in paint. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up there because it's, what time is it, 6 o'clock, 5:30? And yeah, I'm not feeling 100%, so I feel like we'll stop there whilst we're doing good. So all of the ceiling is painted. It looks not 100% white because it's still drying, and it's dried in places where it's not dried in others. So it looks patchy, but it's actually coming, as it's drying, you can see it's getting, I think it's doing a pretty good coverage. All the walls are now white. Same again with the walls. There's a few patches, but most of it is just where it's drying. And obviously it doesn't need to be perfect on the walls because that's just a white coat, so that the green, when we paint it, does come through nicely. So we were hoping we'd get all the green in here done today, but it just hasn't happened. It did take quite a while sort of prepping the room, and we needed some extra bits. Like Christy went to get these buckets with the inserts that saves a lot of washing up and just hassle later. And also the ones that she got have like a really good clip-on tray lid sit thing, so that the paint can be in there for up to 7 days, won't dry out. So that would be really handy for the green stuff in case we don't quite, we will get 2 coats done tomorrow, won't we? Mm-hmm. Yep, we are getting 2 coats done tomorrow. Does mean we probably won't be moving in here tomorrow, but hopefully Tuesday we can start moving all our stuff upstairs, worst case scenario. But yeah, it's looking hella fresh compared to what it was before, with all the wallpaper on the walls. Big thank you to Christine, who has been here helping us all day again today. And yeah, so that's this room. The next one is, well, we have done a mist coat in here, like I said earlier, but we forgot to sand that down before we then were like, oh, we need to start painting in here. And yeah, I'm just really not feeling up for painting another room tonight. I am not feeling great, and I'm hoping I'm not getting ill, because that's the last thing I need when I'm trying to do up house and get through college and do all that sort of stuff. So yeah, hoping to feel better tomorrow. We'll get a lot more done, hopefully. We're probably not going to touch this room again tomorrow. Might just make sure that's sanded and do the mist coat on there, so that when we do come to painting this room, we can just do a full white coat and everything's ready to go. So yeah, hopefully all the green will be done tomorrow, and we'll see you then. So not so fun little bonus update for this evening. Jack went to turn the shower switch on up there, and it is not working. It's completely like just probably corroded and fallen apart. We had it in our old house where when we were having sort of the electrical checks done, there was sort of, I can't remember what it said, like high voltage in the line when everything should have been off. So that was one of the things that, you know, he opened it up and he was like, yeah, that's quite corroded. I'm gonna swap that out for you, and we got a new one. So hopefully that's just the same case for that. The actual shower should be okay. We noticed it was a bit stiff, and it's, yeah, probably been on its way out for a while. So new change of plans. We've moved the new shower head that I got on TikTok, which actually somehow sits there better, into our bathtub, which again had turned into the DIY bathtub. So now we're gonna have to re-clean that so we can actually shower. And the other issue with this bathroom, which is why we were using the ensuite, is that the shower rail comes really far out. So like the shower curtain's gonna be here, and then water's just going to be coming out and going onto the windowsill, which is why we decided not to use this one. So basically I've bought a shower curtain, which I have downstairs because we were initially going to shower in this bathroom anyway. But we're going to hopefully get the new curtain up, and then I'm going to put some Velcro down there, which is going to look terrible, but hopefully we can like stick the shower curtains so that water doesn't come out onto the windowsill, because that's just going to be a nightmare every time we shower. And yeah, we're going to have to tidy up a little bit in here and get all that sorted so we can actually have a shower. Because yeah, both of us are covered in paint and that is not ideal to just be wandering around the house with paint everywhere. And I've just spent about the last 20 or so minutes rinsing out all the rollers and paintbrushes. So yeah, these are now drying. Hopefully, we'll probably need these ones tomorrow, so hopefully those are dry. I've got spare brushes, so worst case if they're not done, then that's not a problem. But Christine did kindly pick me up some Chinese. I'm gonna go eat my chow mein and then hopefully figure out how to have a shower tonight. It's painting day. We're getting the green on the walls today, which is very exciting. It's gone midday already, but the plan was initially we were going to have the first coat done by midday. However, when we got upstairs and decided to check how much paint we had, Jack was like, we don't have a second tub of the green that we're using in our bedroom. So instead of trying to hope we had enough, which I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have had enough, and then realizing like midway through painting, we decided to just go and get some more paint. So here is the current lineup of tubs that we have. So yeah, we have an excessive amount of paint, but it's all necessary. Ones on the end are for our bedroom. Then we've got some overtly olive, which is for the other bedroom, which we haven't finished painting yet, but we did the white in yesterday. Daffodil white is for the other bedroom. Then we got nutmeg white, 3 big old tubs of that for the hallways, which I just don't know when we're going to get around to at this point. It's taking a while. And then white mist was what we used in Jack's office. And then we got some spare pure brilliant white for bathrooms. And then finally we got blush pink, which hopefully is enough for my office. And then whilst we were there, we decided to pick up a load more of these paint inserts because we're going to need them at some point. We got a lid for the, wherever the tool thing is, for that bucket there. So if we don't get through all the white paint, we can just cover it up. And apparently that keeps it fresh for 7 days, which is awesome. So yeah, loads more bits and bobs. Got 2 nice brushes because my job is going to be cutting in. And then look how good this looks. Ceiling now looks pretty perfect. So very happy with how that's turned out. And then obviously there is a few patches on the white, but it actually looks really a lot more obvious in the camera than it does in person. But anyway, it's fine because obviously the green's going on top of that, so it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be white enough that the colour definitely comes through. But yeah, very happy with how this is all looking. I can't believe how much more obvious this is in the camera than it is in person. Like, to me, this wall looks completely white. In the camera, that looks terrible. But yeah, no, overall, it's all going to be fine. And then this room, obviously yesterday we only got the mist coat done, so Jack's going to be sanding up there and doing the mist coat on that final bit up there. And then whilst that's drying, he's going to then come in and hopefully I would have done enough cutting in for him to start painting the walls in there. And then we might get around to doing, I might just send Jack in here to do some white coat whilst we're, well, the second proper coat of white in here, which will then finish off the ceiling and then mean that these walls are then also ready for painting with overtly olive. But yeah, I'm going to take my nice hoodie off because I don't want to get paint on that. And it's very warm in this room actually without the curtains on, being a south-facing bedroom, so a bit worried about the paint drying a bit too quickly, but yeah, we'll just have to crack on and see how we go. Annoyingly, none of the rollers we used yesterday are dry, so I'm just going to defluff this one because I'm not sure if this one has been defluffed. Just in case. Pretty sure this hasn't been used actually because it looks brand new and doesn't feel like there's any sort of leftover paint in it. So this will be the one Jack uses for the green. I don't think we've actually got enough rollers for him to do white in the other room. So what's he going to use for the white? My stomach is growling already, that's not a good start. Got to get it done. All right, fully defluff roller. Let's go. So I've put all of the other rollers outside in the sun. Hopefully they'll be dry, fairly sharpish. And then Jack has started working in here. And I'm about to crack open the first tub of paint. So I have no idea what happened to the sound for this video. I think either my microphone died and I didn't realise, or I just hadn't put it on, or maybe I hadn't put the adapter in, absolutely no idea. But watching this colour go onto white paint is probably the most satisfying thing that I have ever done. I don't think I've ever painted a colour onto a white wall before, and honestly I was so happy and so excited with how this colour was coming through. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was just the result that we needed after months and months of all the prep work and all of the really horrible jobs which led to this moment. So I have no idea what I'm pointing at here, but if I'm guessing, it's probably me explaining to Jack that the paint's going on really nicely, looking really good, but it's proving a bit tricky because it's drying really quickly. So because it was such a warm day, the paint was, yeah, just drying pretty much instantly, which made it really tricky with the cutting in, and if you wanted to go over it like a couple times rather than just a single brush stroke, it was basically then taking the paint off where it was already starting to dry on the underneath. So it did make the cutting in a pretty tricky and time consuming job. And then I'm just pointing here that I managed to get some paint drips onto the freshly painted skirting board. Normally you do the skirting board at the end, but I had to do them before the carpets went in. And then the purple brush I was using was from the House Revive range. Absolutely great brushes, much better I think than these grey ones which are meant to be like the premium ones. But yeah, I'd much preferred the sort of fineness of the bristles on the purple brush, but I was really struggling with the size of the brush. It was just a bit too big for cutting in for me. I think normally I wouldn't have had a problem, but trying to see where the skirting ended and the wall started in the lighting that was in this room was incredibly tricky. It was even worse with the architraves at the top. So the smaller brush was better for me, and I couldn't find any of my angled ones. That was the other thing. None of my brushes were angled. I normally can cut in absolutely fine with a normal brush, but yeah, just the lighting combination in this room, with also the fact that it was drying so quickly. You can really see here with the brush strokes that if I'm going over the wet paint, it's just taking it straight back off again. Oh, I say the wet paint, or the semi-dry paint. Yeah, it's just not giving a very good coverage. Also found out, similar with the plaster, that there is this thing you can add to it, a bit like extra time, which basically helps prevent any brush strokes from where it's drying out, as well as just gives you a bit more working time, especially if it's a hot day, for getting the paint to go on right. So that would have been very handy to know beforehand. So it's been 3 hours since I started the cutting in this room and I haven't even finished. It's taking such a long time. To be fair, I didn't really factor in the fact that all of the other rooms I've done cutting in for have literally just had one door and one window. This room has 3 doors plus the well, 3 doors including the wardrobe and then quite a big window and radiator. So just got to crack on. I think we're only going to get 1 coat done today though, which is annoying, but I'm in love with this colour. It's beautiful, so happy with that. Jack has nearly finished his room with the white coat, which is looking hella good. He's just got the ceiling to go. And he's going to come and roll the green in this room, which is fabulous. But yeah, I thought we'd get it all done today and we are not. And we did get the washing out on the line. I'm really annoyed that I didn't think of that sooner because it's been a beautifully stunning day today. So that would have all been dry by the time we finished painting today. So wish I'd thought of that sooner because we haven't really got any space to dry upstairs at the moment, but it is what it is. There we go guys, that is the first coat on the walls and it's all looking pretty good. Obviously still patchy being the first coat. I mean, this is the first wall that was completed, so this one's actually quite close to being dry already, and I'm really loving the colour. So looking forward to the second coat going on. Annoyingly, we have run out of time. What time is it, dear?
You got one?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I want to say it's probably like 6:30.
6:25.
Oh, pretty bang on. So yes, about 6:30. I was thinking we could start maybe the next coat, but the walls have only just been rolled by Jack, so this is the driest wall, but I just don't want to start cutting in again and then not really remembering where I got up to tomorrow. So we might have some help from Christine, Jack's mum, tomorrow. So fingers crossed we'll get this whole room done for the second coat. I won't have to be quite as careful. Well, I will be careful, but obviously not. Hopefully I won't have to be quite as precise with the cutting in as I was today, because obviously we're trying to get a nice neat edge. I think I've mostly succeeded, but yeah, I was struggling a bit at the beginning with trying to figure out where the like sort of edge was, because the shadow kind of and the angle you were at made it really tricky to actually figure out how to not go onto the architrave and actually go close enough that you were covering the whole of the wall. So I did get better as I went round, and also what I didn't realise whilst I was cutting in, which is one of the reasons why it's taken me so long to do, is I forgot that I'm painting all the door frames and stuff, so I didn't need to be quite as accurate when I was like this one particularly. I was trying to be really careful with, really didn't need to be, because now if you see, like, you probably see how yellow these are, especially compared to sort of the white at the bottom and obviously the white at the ceiling as well. So yeah, they definitely need to be painted up. But yeah, we're going again tomorrow. Sadly not into our bedroom this evening like we potentially thought, and definitely not going to be in tomorrow either, but maybe by Wednesday we'll be living in our bedroom. So guys, we have finally got a Tranquil Dawn on all of these walls and it's looking real good. I mean, we've literally only finished this room about half an hour ago maybe, and most of it is already pretty dry. I think that's one of the reasons why I was having so many issues yesterday with like the edge, going around the edges and stuff. Like as almost as soon as you'd done a bit, like you had very little time to sort of make sure it was smooth and move it around if you needed to. Found out today that, like with the plaster, which we also didn't know, you can get this stuff that basically gives you extra time. Would have been very handy because obviously yesterday was quite a warm day, and we were outside. We were inside looking outside at how nice it was, but it was, yeah, causing a bit of problems with painting. But actually, even with all those issues, it's still looking hella good. So we should be moving all of our stuff in here on Thursday. We've just got one more job to do before we're going to do that. And that job is going to be sanding down this and repainting it, because this one's actually not as bad as some of the other rooms, but some of the paint's sort of flicking off. So we just want to do that before we move all our stuff in here, because it's not something we will come back and do after because of all the mess it will make. But yeah, all the old sort of paint's flicking off in places. But we did get the silicone off today, so that's ready for siliconing probably after we've done the sanding in here and all the mess is not going to be flying around and going in the nice new silicone. But yeah, very happy with this colour and how it's all looking. Very excited to hopefully move in the not too distant future.